Hello, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today I'd like to share with you a card that I have cased, copy and share everything, from a card that was featured in the July to December mini catalog. This particular bundle is found on page 9. It has a coordinating stamp set that is the Christmas Banners bundle. I did not choose to purchase it, but I really liked this particular card that was created by one of the Stampin' designers at Stampin' Up. And it used a lot of the other elements, and I wanted to simplify things. Plus, this card is not a traditional 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. It's a little narrower. Likely is just as wide, but it's not as tall. And so I wanted to share kind of how I simplified this card layout. You can order any of these supplies from me. If you don't have a demonstrator already, I'd love to be yours. You can use my host code through the end of September and go to justalittleinc.stampinup.net. Place your order anytime. And I will send you a thank you note, hand stamped in appreciation. And I also have a rewards program. You can find all of those details at the top of my blog, justalittleinc.com. All these measurements that I'm going to share with you in a moment, you can also find on my blog. So what you are going to need, we'll kind of set some of this stuff aside. What you will need is a half a sheet of real red cardstock. And I've listed in my supplies a package of the Regals 8.5 by 11 cardstock, because you will get 2 each of all of 10 colors that are in that particular collection, and it'll give you enough to make 4 of these cards when you buy the bundle. So I scored it, or I cut it 5 1/2 by 8.5, scored it at 4 1/4. You also are going to need a piece of our Sweetest Christmas 12 by 12 designer series paper. I will show you all the different images here in just a moment, but this piece should be 2 3/4 inch by 5 1/2. And then you need some pieces of basic white. So a package of basic white is in the list as well. 4 inches by 5 1/4 to go on the inside. You'll want a piece that's 3 1/4 or thereabouts by 3 1/4, so you can cut the circle. Then you also will want a piece that's 1 1/2 by 4. That's enough to get your candy cane and your little leaf image. And then for the greeting on the front, you are going to want a piece that is garden green, that is 1 1/2 by 4 inches, and that's enough to stamp in Versamark and emboss the greeting and then cut it out with the largest banner. We're going to be using the Stylish Shapes die set from our annual catalog. I use this set all the time. It is a great set to complement any of your stamping needs. You're also going to need a piece of our real red Glimmer paper. It's from the mini catalog in the same Sweet collection as the Sweet Candy Cane stamp set and bundle. And we need the real red, and we're going to cut a piece that is 1 inch by 4 inches. Let me go grab that because I have forgotten it. Okay, so I think we have everything we need to get started. I'm also going to share that the card they had done from the designer from Stampin' Up used some of the designer series paper. So I did share that I would share what those papers look like. I have used almost all of this particular print, but that is the back side of what I'm using here on this card. All of our papers are double-sided unless they're noted otherwise in the catalog. And so I'm going to show you 1 sheet of each. Again, you'll get 2 sheets of each of these 12 by 12 pieces in this pack of designer series paper. Gorgeous, gorgeous papers. And definitely coordinate with this suite so very well. So you get 6 designs, 2 of each, and here is the paper that they cut to use this. And I'm going to show you how to do that using basic white paper and our Stampin' Right markers. I'll set some things out of the way. So I'm going to actually start a little differently than I sometimes do and show you how I'm going to stamp my my candy cane. So I'm going to start with the green. All of our Stampin' Right markers are two-sided. One is a writing tip, and on the other side is a brush tip. And we're going to use the brush tip. I'm going to come in and start every other one. And you want to use the side. You don't want to come down. You want to use the side. So I'm going to come in here, and then I'm just going to kind of turn my stamp around enough so that I can keep it in the right direction. Show you how quick this really goes. This was the first way I'd learned to do any stamping, and if you are not one who loves to color things in, this technique is a great way to get a lot of different colors without a lot of effort, and you don't need to be doing color book coloring. I like to color book color, but not everyone does. So then I'm going to pull out my real red. These are in a marker set, so you can get all 10 of the markers in a set, and I have listed that again in the description of this video. And you can click on any of those, and it will take you directly to my website so that you may order anything you might need. Please comment and give me your feedback, as well as be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have new subscribers. Helps build my videos, and I love it if you comment. Okay, you want to breathe on this. You've taken a little bit of time and those have sat, so you want to moisten that ink again. I'm going to stamp it on center, hold it a minute, and see how pretty we have a two-toned candy cane. And then I have room in here to put my little leaf, and so I'm going to go ahead and stamp the leaf. All of these are instinctive stamps, meaning that they have a lot of variation in how they ink. They look watercolored without doing anything on your part, which is so wonderful. Then you're going to pull out the coordinating dies. I have all of mine set in special stamp cases. You line up your dies. You're going to put a little bit of washi or some quick release masking tape. You've got 2 of these to go with, and then you'll run them through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm going to just set that aside because I've already done that. You're also going to use the largest circle from the Stylish Shapes, and you're going to run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and cut out your circle. Again, I've already done that. So let me pull out the things I've already done right here. So we'll set these out of the way, so we don't need them. Then I want to show you how I did my embossing. Right now in our mini catalog, we have a great resource for you if you've not done embossing, heat embossing before. This is called our Embossing Additions Toolkit. It comes with all of these pieces. You've got some tweezers, which are awesome for when you're embossing to hold things, especially those small pieces. You get a little brush that helps not only to clean out the tray, but also helpful at other times if you have a little stray flecks. And then you also get an embossing buddy. The embossing buddy is so important because it helps remove any oils that might have gotten on your cardstock. So you want to use it on your cardstock, and then you notice I'm kind of just using my fingernails so I don't use my finger back onto there. Okay. Then I'm going to pull out Versamark so that I can ink up my Wishing You Lots of Love. So I've got my stamp here. Line it up. And I've made this piece large enough that I have plenty of room if I'm not quite straight. Okay. So I'll get this out of the way. And I use my embossing powders, especially the ones I use all the time. This is from the Basics embossing powders. So I keep mine in old sandwich buckets, and it's just easier for me. So then I'm going to make sure I get all covered. You see how I have a little bit here? That's where I think this little brush can come in handy, just to get a little of that off as well. Make sure you have everything covered. Then you'll heat it with your embossing, your heat tool. And again, I have done that already, so I'm going to set that aside. And you want to then cut it out using the largest of these banner dies. I told you I use this a lot. So let's go ahead and assemble now that we have everything cut and everything embossed. So pull out. We're going to just kind of slide these things forward. Okay, so I'm going to fold my cardstock along that score line. I'm going to pull out my bone folder. Helps give a nice crisp crease. Okay, grab my Stampin' seal, my go-to adhesive. And I'm going to leave my inside of mine blank so I can choose whatever greeting I want on the inside. I might simply just say Merry Christmas. If you hear a dog in the background, that's one of the challenges of videoing. The dog's got somebody they need to bark at. So I'm putting my designer series paper on the front of my card. I want to leave about a ½ inch at this lower section, the upper part having more. Then I'm going to attach my circle. I'm going to come in. I want it about a ½ inch from one side, and I want to kind of split this overlap. Well, give or take a little. Then I'm going to take my candy cane. It goes on next, and the nice thing is it's wide enough that our Stampin' seal can do the adhesive on the front. I'm going to come at an angle, like so. I might go just a little lower. There we go. And then I do need to use my liquid glue, my multi-purpose liquid glue, another go-to adhesive. I take this. I want it not to be too high. I want it to come off a little bit right here. I'm going to take this piece of Glimmer paper. I want to line it up. Oops, I got a little crazy, didn't I? Guess what? You get another little tip. When you haven't gone too long, get a little bit of release here. I can get it high enough. I can slide this in between. So I don't want that candy cane covered up. So I'm going to come right here, make sure I'm straight, and put you back down. Then I can take my banner. I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. I want 3 of them. I want to make sure it stays secured. 2 would really hold it, but I don't want it to dip in the middle, so I'm going to go ahead and do 3. Like so. And I'll come in up a little ways and cover up that edge. Okay. And you'll note when you case something, sometimes you change colors and the layout is completely the same. Sometimes you're doing like I am, you're simplifying. It's not completely different. I didn't run my Glimmer paper as long. I didn't use a lot of the other dyed elements. All of those things are ways to case and yet it not be exactly the same. I'm going to pull out the brushed metallic adhesive back dots. These are on a weekly deal right now from September 1st through September 7th. And I'm guessing while supplies last, but you'll get a discount on these. So they're in the online store. Great thing. I'm going to use the gold. I'm going to put just a couple. I want them up here. I'll put another one down here. And then I'm going to take one. I like them in threes. I'm going to put it over here. Up here would have worked as well. And the take your pick tool is so wonderful for that. It's got your sticky on one end that helps to place things, and then the other side you have two sides and there's two different tips, and I never remember where I have my other tip. One is a pokey tool or a piercer, and then there's a flat blade that kind of helps when you slide some other things in, and that slides in and twists to lock. It's a great tool, $10 tool. Awesome. So here is my card. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to hearing or to seeing you again soon.